Hi everyone, welcome to the next in the series of Meet the Board Property Entrepreneur interviews. Very, very pleased to have long-standing property entrepreneur board member Josh Keegan with us today from the Zest property group. Welcome, Josh.
Hey Dan, how you doing? You all right?
Very good. How's your day been?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Just finishing up stuff before the weekend. Looking forward to it.
Perfect. So on this call, what we're going to do is Josh is going to give us some insight into his background sort of before Zest and before Property Entrepreneur. Then he's going to share with us his experience having been on the program, developed his business, where they've come from and where they've gone to. He's going to share some high value learnings. So the highest value thing that he's learned in the last few years building his business. And then we're going to finish off with some top tips. So stay tuned towards the end. He's going to give you some top tips that you can go away and apply into your business straight away to take your business forward as quick as possible. So Josh, over to you. You want to give everyone a bit of an insight into yourself, your background, what you did before Property Entrepreneur and Zest?
Yeah, of course. So I went to Manchester University and I finished up on that, and I got into a graduate scheme. Got into a graduate scheme to be an accountant, and then ended up going all around the UK to work in different kind of accountancy placements at a big defence company, doing all that stuff. And throughout that, I was doing all my qualifications, getting my SEMA qualification done, and being essentially trained to be an accountant. Did that in 2.5 years, got that sorted, and then I just started coming home in the evenings, wanting to do something else. So I ran out the steam of kind of the corporate life, 9 to 5. There's not much more you can do. I wasn't too enthralled by it, or excited by it. That combined with looking at people that were kind of 10 years ahead of me, wasn't necessarily interested in kind of following that path. So I got in contact with Phil, who is now my business partner with Zest, and he was in a stage where he had a property portfolio which he needed to kind of systemize and sort out, so it was kind of consuming him. And I was in a stage where I was looking to quit my job and start a business. So Zest was formed about 3.5 years ago now, and I believe you'll do an interview, Phil, at some point, so I'll give you more of the insight. So then I was responsible for the letting side of stuff. Got to a point where unfortunately Phil had to remove himself from the business for a period of time, and that's when I joined the Property Entrepreneur board, and that was about 2.5 years ago now.
Lovely. And when you joined the program a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, what sort of stage and size and structure was the business at that point when you started?
Yeah, so obviously we're a lettings business. We specialise in HMO management. At the time, we had about, I think it was 54 HMO rooms, like managed units at that time. And it was fine. We didn't really know what we were doing. No one does. We just started to get known. A few landlords just started to ask if we'd manage their properties for them. A few landlords asked if we'd renovate their properties for them. And then they were asking if we'd find them. So portfolio builder that kind of service kind of came around. So we're at the size about 54 units. Phil had kind of grown it from about the year, like doubled it in size from the year before, from around 26 to around that kind of size, normally through rent to rent. And then we just kind of had to decide where we were going to go from that point. Obviously, a bit of crisis mode, given that Phil had all the experience and now was unable to kind of participate in what we were doing. So that was the kind of situation when I joined the board, so at that kind of size.
Very good. So when you joined the program, you had the business was up and running. It had the portfolio of about 50 rooms, and that was quite established. I mean, the portfolio was, Phil had his portfolio for quite some time. Yeah. You had to then step up into the entrepreneur's boots and basically lead the business for the first time of being in an entrepreneurial environment. And then how did that go from there? And then over the last sort of 2 or 3 years on the program, how's that journey been? Yeah. Sort of the rough and the smooth, the highs and the lows?
I mean, it's been there's definitely some highs, but it's definitely been some lows. It's been phenomenally challenging. I mean, each year since we started, we've doubled in size, which is, it doesn't sound much when you go from 26 to 54. That is double, isn't it? Yeah, almost. Yeah. It's roughly double in size. So when you're doing that, it doesn't sound like much. But when you kind of keep doing that, it becomes quite sizable. Phenomenal kind of challenges throughout the kind of time. Like even when you look back at like 6 months ago, the whole business is totally different. Look back 6 months ago, the whole business is totally different, and each time it changes. I think what Property Entrepreneur has done and going through that board and that process is it kind of puts it's put a model to the madness. It's kind of created some kind of order and sanity around all the kind of chaos that's going on, which you naturally have when you kind of go for any business. And
Josh, just to give everyone who's listening some insight, if they're not familiar with Zest or they haven't heard your story previously, you took the portfolio on at 50 units, and over the last sort of 2 to 3 years, you've obviously taken it forward. Do you want to give everyone some insight into how aggressive that growth curve's been? And obviously,
it's been very. When I'm kind of about 54 units, and then about a year and a half later, maybe about a year and a half, 18 months, we took that from 54 to 272. So it was massive. So it was about a year and a half, and we did that. That was crazy, absolutely crazy. But that just came from just building a kind of solid reputation, just really going for it, just knowing that we had to grow. So we went from 54 to 272, and that so it took us about a year and a half from that point. And
that is when we talk about fast growth in companies in the UK. If you're doing over 20% growth, that's considered to be aggressive and fast growth. These guys are talking about doing 500% in like a year and a half. So you can appreciate how aggressive that is. And what's that like in real terms of like the challenges that come with that?
I mean, the way it kind of works, I mean, most people watching this would have probably done the wealth dynamics and have kind of understanding of that. And for me, that worked for me because I'm Blaze profile, and that's what I like to do. I like the fast growth, I like the high energy, I like the kind of go balls to the wall, just kind of getting up there. The dynamics of that is it's pretty gut wrenching. It's pretty challenging. You've kind of got everything's new. Everything's going to be thrown at you left, right, and centre. It doesn't happen when you want it to. You've got a team, and their appetite for growth is most likely not going to be as kind of wet as your appetite is for growth. Everyone's up for it until it actually starts happening and everything's getting ripped apart, and you've kind of got all those different challenges. You've got systems in place that work, like spreadsheets work when you're at 54, or kind of work when you're at 54 rooms. When you start going up to 100 rooms, they just get ripped apart, so you have to put a new system in. So you're putting new systems in, trying to write new processes, trying to train new team members, all while everything's being thrown at you left, right, and centre while you're trying to grow the business. Combining all of that with then watching all the money, the finances side, the cash, client accounts, everything associated with that. I mean, it's not an easy process at all. It's very, very hard work.
And just to sort of explore that a little bit. So that's where we talk about more businesses choke to death than starve. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs go bust, is because they take on too much revenue, take on too much growth, and there's so much to do at the same time. It creates like fatal issues. Yeah. With regards to using the Property Entrepreneur process to enable you to get through that, how did you manage to break it up and know what to do when, which enabled you to actually ride through the storm?
Yeah, so the methodology of Property Entrepreneur is essentially using the seasons. So we've got spring, summer, autumn, winter. And what this allows you to do is kind of give you kind of seasonal activity to do in each 3 months, which just break it down a little bit. So what that means is we do all our kind of growth, kind of start the growth in spring, rapid growth in summer, and then autumn we kind of calm it down a little bit, review strategy, look where we want to go, note down anything that's broken, anything that's not working, and then winter is when we kind of get into the pit stop and like kind of take a break and really fix everything. And what that means is every year you go round, all the problems you had before, theoretically, you get to eliminate, and then you kind of get to rebuild the business and then go for it again. So that's where the kind of Property Entrepreneur methodology really helps with all that kind of growth and that cycle. And that's worked really, really well for us, for anyone that's going through that expansion. If we were doing that, I know it sounds like we did all of that, that growth is huge. And it sounds like, every month it was 30 rooms per month. It really wasn't. One of the biggest things we did, we took on 70 rooms on the 1st of July last year. And so that was summertime. That was when it was ready. And we did a lot of expansion in the kind of 3 to 6 months of the summertime rather than throughout the whole year. Because in the winter, we took that very seriously and we were literally in the office building all the new processes, putting the new management systems in place, getting control of the finances, putting everything in place. So we could afford to do that and be able to do that in the summer.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, all things considered, going through the journey, going through the process, if there's anything else you want to share on that, by all means, of the key learnings that you've pulled out of that journey, like what would the key learnings be that you've said, having been through it now, the key learnings you've got looking back?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I talked a little bit about winter, and Dan, you kind of preach about it a lot, about this kind of concept of this winter hit list. So in autumn, you kind of take a bit of time to kind of review where you're up to in the business, and you produce this document, which is essentially winter hit list. And this is everything's broken. And I think it was at the accelerator the other day when we were there, and it was interesting to see, because I think you were asking the people in the audience, you know, how many people have got 5 things that's broken in their business, how many people have got 10 things, and that kind of the hands started to go down. How many people have got 50 things that, and it was just me and you with our hands up at the back, and then you go it's me and you that had the hands at the end. And I think that the business is never done, but I could list thousands and thousands of things. It's about getting those things into a place in the autumn time, so that in winter you will address them all and fix them. And it does a lot for your headspace, because we've got something, I mean, even now we're in a really, really solid place at the moment. We've gone through a lot of rationalization, the portfolio got us into a really, really good place. There's stuff every day to do with accounts, to do with communications to tenants, and all these kind of things that aren't working. But it does a lot for your headspace and a lot for your team's headspace to say, don't worry about it, jot that on the WhatsApp group, jot it on the winter hit list WhatsApp group. We'll deal with that when it gets to the 3 months of winter. Because if you're trying to constantly fix things and grow and fill rooms and do everything together, that just doesn't work. So
gives you a bit of like an excuse for yourself as well, doesn't it? It allows you to concentrate on growth during the summer, and you can say, we'll fix it, but not now. We'll fix it in the winter, and then everyone knows where they stand.
A good example, I'll give you a good example for today. I was just chatting to one of the girls to Rachel, who runs like our maintenance department, and she was looking at buying door numbers because every now and again a contractor goes to the wrong door in one of our properties. She had them all up on her screen. You know, I just said, it's a great idea, I love it, but it's not for now. Like, it just doesn't matter that much. It's just such a low risk issue. But I don't feel guilty saying that, to say, right, well, we will deal with that in the winter, and that's when we'll deal with that, and then it won't be a problem then. So it just allows you to compartmentalize it without feeling guilty. Knowing you're going to come back to it, we will deal with that. But door numbers right now, we've got all the other stuff going on. It's just not a priority. But it is something that will help in the future and stop a lot of problems in the future. So you just put it to that one side, and then you just fix the things that are really broken now, and the things you can wait in the winter time. And that's really powerful. It's really good for your mindset, and you don't feel like you've got a never-ending to-do list. There's certain things you can put out to the future.
Yeah, and it does get never-ending. I think one of the other learnings that we have is that the business is never finished. You know, there's always something broken, and it's giving yourself that, you know, prioritising, appreciating that, and, you know, not putting too much pressure on yourself unnecessarily. It's all a game at the end of the day. It
is, and you are right. It is never finished, and sometimes you trick yourself into thinking it is finished, and then 2 days later, then something another comes. It's never done. It absolutely is never done. It's quite relentless, but it's about starting to learn to enjoy that journey and do it, structure it in a way so you don't feel overwhelmed by the fact that it's never finished. But you've got packets of time where you're going to deal with certain things and certain activity.
Excellent. And then is there any other sort of key learnings, or like for people listening, top tips that they can take away and apply into their businesses? Yeah,
definitely. I think a big kind of key learning for me, I kind of shared this at the end of year presentations that we did, was around growth. I think that when you're growing your company, I do think that you're neglecting a lot. You're really just focusing on one thing, that is growth, and there's a lot of neglect that's going on. And I think you will feel the consequences of that, and I think you always do. But you can go for a phenomenal growth curve like we did. We did 70 rooms in 1 month. We expanded. It was phenomenal. But then it took about 6 to 8 months after that all finished, and that was all kind of done, which we really start to feel all the kind of issues that were caused as a result of that growth curve, because it can have a bit of a lag on you and kind of creep up on you. And I just think that for anyone that's kind of planning on going through the growth curve, it's a phenomenal thing to do. You just got to make sure you understand that there is going to be a bit of a backlog. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you've got to deal with after that you need to sort out. You just need to get your head down and sort out the kind of mess that you will inevitably create when you're growing a company. So they just go hand in hand. The growth and mess that follows, it just comes hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. It comes with the territory. You know, if you're going to sign up for that, you're going to sign up for, you know, breakneck speeds of growth and rapid acceleration. It does come with hairy moments. So, you know, we're all in the same boat together when you ride that wave.
I think as well, just on top of that, is make sure when you are growing, you are kind of doing it because you really want to. I think a big learning for me this year as well is when we got to that 270 rooms, the business just didn't feel nice anymore. It just felt a bit just really hard work, and everyone's kind of really feeling the burn, feeling the pressure. And I think we grew too quickly with maybe rooms and properties we maybe shouldn't have. So I think that when initially that kind of target for most people is always get to X point. It's always get to X point. It's get to, for us, it was always get to 250 rooms, and we wanted to beat it. It's always to do that get to that point. But make sure you have that target. You also set kind of parameters around it. Like now we've actually off-boarded some of those rooms, and some of that growth. And going from feeling where everyone's overworked, stressed, feeling like you open your mailbox and you've got 5 or 6 emails from angry people in there, to bring it down a little bit, bring it down a peg or two. So rather than being the overall goal being this number, bring it down to a slightly smaller number, make the overall goal, I want to really enjoy opening everything. I want the whole team to enjoy opening everything. I want everyone to enjoy the business and make a business that's a really nice lifestyle business that really works. For me, that's been a big kind of learning for me too this year. It was Adam Goff, who's on the board, who I'm sure you do an interview at some point, who said that the business, from his perspective, the business should serve him rather than him serving the business. And when I kind of got that into my head about business, what's the point of this thing that you're creating? It is to serve you. It shouldn't be the other way around. So it's trying to make sure that you're aware of that, and everything that you're doing in building is based on make sure it serves you. Don't spend time wasting any time on people that you don't want to work with, anyone that's slightly toxic. Don't let them into your business, and just make sure that business continues to serve you.
And when we go through the 12-month cycle, so when we talk about life by design, so, building these things so they do fit in with what you want, you'll find that your definition of success for those that are listening will change every year or every few years. Your definition of success changes. And when you're a small startup business, all you want to be is the biggest and the best, and you've got this huge growth appetite. And there's very few entrepreneurs that I know that don't have that beaten out of them through the process. And you get to the point where you've got the big bad business, and all of a sudden you want other stuff. You then want, client satisfaction, and you want profits back, and you want strong culture, and you lose a lot of that during the growth curve. Then you get there, and then we've had this conversation so many times. You stick it out, you get another sort of 6 to 18 months under your belt. It all levels out at this level. You take a breath, you make some money again, and then undoubtedly the majority of entrepreneurs, when they get to that level, then decide, because they've completely lost the plot, let's go again. And then you go up to the next challenge. It is, it's all very, very predictable. And we have this all the time, don't we?
Sorry, I mean, I think what you said there, where you get there, takes a bit of time, then you make some money. It's so true as well. You kind of do, and I think that the another kind of fact I've learned is when we were at the 272, we've now gone down to around slightly less, like kind of slightly under 250 out of choice, and it's running better than it ever was before. Everyone's happier, and we're also making more money than we ever were before. It's really strange. I don't fully understand why or how. There's this weird thing where you're focusing on the right stuff and everything's working really well, but it does all level itself out eventually, and it's not that goal of the bigger. It's not always better. I know we hear that all the time, but it's so true.
Yeah, without a doubt. More revenue we talk all the time about more revenue doesn't mean more profit.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have a portfolio of 50 rooms, which is highly lucrative, great lifestyle culture. People scale it up to 100, 150, 200, blow the living daylights out of it, lose control, have arrears, voids. And, more revenue doesn't mean more profit. Any other key learnings or top tips to share with everyone before we finish?
I'd say for anyone that's kind of joining the actual kind of program, like I'll be there next year, so I'm really looking forward to it. Everyone's on a different journey. I'd say you just got to embrace it, like literally embrace it and follow it. Like when Dan starts harping on about this stupid winter hit list that everyone's got to do, and you've got to fill out this crap and do it, all these things you don't want to do, you have to do them in 3 months. You can't grow the company. You think this is mental. However, do it and embrace it. Embrace every element of it, because it really, really does work. Going on about it again, another top tip is winter is everything. Building the business in winter is just huge. It's gruesome. It's not very fun, but it's massive. You set yourself up the whole year. And I think the other thing for me is
just on that point, Josh, because that's one that nobody gets it until they've done Property Entrepreneur for 2 or 3 years. Everyone says, you can never start winter early enough, and it always ends too soon, and you need to make the most of it. But do you go into winter looking forward to it and enjoying it?
I always think that there's no way it can be as hard as it was last year, and then it normally because you've got bigger ideas and bigger things you want to change and create. So I do love the out. It's like you've been saying it quite a lot on your social stuff at the moment. Like no one loves going to the gym. Everyone loves having gone to the gym. No one loves waking up at 5. Everyone loves having woken up at 5. And it's like this. No one likes going through the winter process. I've got more and more kind of leveraged at it, and I think that's what happens over time, because more as you build a bit more of a team, people have more kind of understanding of how everything works. You can say, right, well, can you improve this process? That the invoicing process needs to be, and other people can start to do it, and that's been good, because originally it was just me working non-stop, writing processes that no one understood the processes, but now the team can say, right, this process is a bit broken, and they'll fix it, which is great. And so it's getting easier and easier, but obviously naturally your ambition and what you want to create becomes higher. So in order to do that, you have to be spending way more time writing marketing copy, writing a social media plan for the year, writing all this kind of stuff. And so it's still a very challenging process, but it's lovely to see it when it kind of pans out throughout the year afterwards.
Yeah, and you do get to a point, obviously I've been going through this methodology forever, and you've been doing it for a few years. You do get to a point where you start to look forward to every season because you appreciate the value, you feel it in your business. I suppose what I was trying to do is give everyone the confidence that nobody likes writing processes and operations manuals and changing systems and all these winter things. Nobody likes it. Although once people have been through Property Entrepreneur a couple of times, they realise that all of that work that's done in those 3 months will reflect the progress and the success that's achieved through the spring and the summer. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword, but it's, you know, that is the way it works.
Yeah, I think the caveat, because and this is like genuine feedback on like the program, how it works, because it's very easy to say, all right, winter time, you get your head down, you don't grow the company, you crack on, and that's true to an extent, but also the other reality is you're going to have team members that leave at that point that you need to recruit. You're going to have to take on a few clients, etc. So there will be lots and lots going on, but you've just got to be disciplined to stick to it. And yeah, when you do it, it works wonders. I think like now we're about to move to autumn, and that's a nice season. I think it kind of winding down for summer, winding down all the growth, and just kind of calming everything down a little bit, and we're just doing far more reflection. And what we're about to go into now is really, really lovely.
And as the businesses do get bigger, you know, you've grafted on Zest for the last 3 years. As they get bigger, like you said, they do become more leveraged, and skill sets you'll start to develop, or you are developing now, is more like the art of scheduling, delegation, leveraging the team, you know, running projects, all of those things for the winner hit list. So it will continue to get more leveraged. Any closing learnings or final top tips?
I would just say, I think it's difficult because I think this kind of mentioned following what you've been up to, but I think you talked about it in Shiv's interview as well. The fact that it's all a game is just huge, and I know we kind of talk about it, but the fact that it just changes your mindset and the kind of concept to look at it a little bit. It is all a bit of a game. Things are going to go wrong. It's like snakes and ladders. You get moved back on the board, but you can kind of work your way back up again. That for me has been powerful, because when you're having a really tough day and you can't think of anything worse, and then something happens and something goes wrong, and then all these things are going badly, that mindset and that shift in head, say, right, this is fine, we'll get better, it'll be great. And I think it will. I had some really challenging months where I just couldn't, it's really hard to see that light in the end of the tunnel because there's just so much stuff going on, but you always get through it. And all of a sudden, if you just keep working on it, your business will take a turning point. It will just kind of get to where you need to be. You've just got to focus on it for long enough and have the patience to do so, and we'll get there.
Very good. Excellent. Well, hopefully everyone got a lot of value out of that. I mean, Josh has been very frank and transparent about the realities of building fast growth businesses. And this is one of the things you can expect from Property Entrepreneur. It's a very open, honest, transparent environment where we all share the journey together, and we've all been through it. If you're going to go for fast growth, you know, you can't have fast growth and high profits at the same time in most cases. And it is an absolute roller coaster of a ride. Anything else before we finish, Josh?
No, I think that's good. That's all from me. Thank you for chatting with you.
Yeah, thank you for your time, Josh. And it's not all too bad. I understand you're off on holiday for a couple of weeks tomorrow, yeah?
I am. On Sunday, I'm off to Spain for a week. It's been lovely. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, very well deserved. Congratulations on all your efforts over the last few years with Zest, and thank you for sharing your story with everyone. on this recording. Have a great weekend, Josh.
Cheers, Dan. Have a good weekend. See ya. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.